Well, hi and welcome to my shop. Thanks so much for joining me. What I've got in front of me is one of the original Citizen Band radios that were offered for sale. I'm going to guess this is very late 50s, maybe early 60s. I'm not sure of that. It's a Messenger, Viking, Johnson. Those are the three names. So Johnson is the builder. And why Viking fits in, there's the Viking guy right there. Is that a V in there? I don't think so. I think that's a J for Johnson. That looks like a Viking. It's a 5-channel CB radio. What crystals are in here, I don't know. I have operated this, but it's been quite a few years. Never actually talked to anybody on it or used it that way at all. Yeah, I used to be a CB guy back in the 70s in the little town I lived in. Had a CB in my house and in my car, and I had a lot of fun with it. So the thing is, right now I've noticed the skip, which is a form of long distance transmission, not really intended for these radios, but occurs occasionally, very occasionally, occurs due to a layer in the atmosphere called the E-layer layer. I believe it's called the sporadic E-layer because it's sporadic. So when that layer is in the atmosphere, I can hear little CB radios like this from as far away, well, I've heard them from a couple thousand or 1,000 miles away in Western Canada. I've heard them out of Quebec, and of course a pile of stuff coming up from the States where people have made a hobby of getting on their CB radios, sometimes a little souped up CB radio, and when the conditions are right, when the skip is in, away they go. So I would expect under normal conditions I could turn this radio on, it could be working 100%, I could try the channels and I would hear nothing because who's using CB? But when the skip conditions are up, it's a different story. There are hundreds of people trying to make use of CB radio during skip conditions. It's actually a lot of fun. I get a big kick out of listening to it. I've never tried transmitting on it. So that gives me a chance to hear something on here. In fact, that gives me a chance to hear it right now. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this guy on. We're going to see what happens. First of all, let's volume on and squelch. Channel. This must be a receive transmit or something, or maybe it's transmit overload, or talking too loud or something. I don't know why there's two lights. Maybe it's just a power on light. So I have it hooked up to my outdoor antenna. It's not in any way tuned for CB radio, but I was hearing stuff on it on my other radio today. And of course this is a vacuum tube radio. It's got quite a few tubes in it. And as far as I know, there's never been any work done on this thing. So this is, as far as I know, this is stock. Wow, is this going to work? So I'm going to turn it on via the dim lights, of course. Let's first check to make sure the off switch is off. Yep. We'll turn it on from here. I'm watching the dim lights. If they go fully bright, she's off. No, that's good. Everything's working good. Now, I have no intention of transmitting with this, by the way. Not at this point. So it has this microphone. Must be a spring-loaded transmit button. That seems to be in the wrong. Do you think you'd push it up to transmit? Okay, wait a sec. No, it's spring-loaded downwards. Okay, just want to be sure it's not. This thing isn't transmitting. Okay, a little volume. Huh, listen to that. So again, I don't know what crystals are in here. Let's see if we can hear anything on here. Nothing there. Oh, I think we know now. Oh. Let's give it full power. Let's see, what's it running at right now? It's running at a low voltage, 82 volts. It's way low. We're going to bring it up here. Seems to be sucking back a fair bit of power. Oh. Unfortunately, when I'm listening to hiss like this, my imagination runs wild, and I hear voices in the hiss. I hear voices in the hiss, Doctor. Squelch. This baby's working. This light's on. This must be the transmit light. Okay, I got a little idea. What idea should I try? Let's try sending a signal to it. I'll use my signal generator here. Help me figure out what channels these crystals are too. And verify that it is actually able to receive. So this is going to be up around 27 megahertz. Up in this range. Let's get the antenna. I wonder if I should put this right into the back of it. Why not? We'll do that. He says I got to think about this a little bit because of connectors. Okay, we'll try this. Turn down the hiss here a bit. Smell a lot of heat coming up through here. Doesn't quite smell like burning though. So now this will have the signal generator signal on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up here. Okay, and we'll feed the signal generator signal in just one wire to start with. I'm not even going to ground it back. Vary the signal generator frequency here, and we'll see what we get. We're at 26.3 right now. There it is. $27,005. Nothing, nothing. Let's try this one. And the last one. That sounds really, really good. Wow. Okay, so we'll figure out what frequency that is. 27. Let's see. The easiest way to do that, I don't have a chart in my hand. Just throw it on my computer screen here and take a read. That would be CB channel frequencies. Okay, give me a chart. Here's a chart. Okay, I got a chart in front of me now. So the frequency we're listening to is 120. It's 27,128. 27,128. 27. Looking on this chart. 27. Hey, there is no such channel. 125. Wait a minute. Oh, 120. It is a weird chart. Okay. This is a very strange chart. Channel 14. Okay, that's excellent. So this is 14. That's good to know. 14 is where all handy, like just ordinary kids' walkie-talkies are and stuff like that. 27105 is channel 12. Nothing special about that. How much you want to bet this is channel 9? It looks like 2700, right on the money. 2700. Well, it's either channel 4 or channel 3, so it's not 9. 9 is an emergency channel. You think most of these radios... Now, there could be 2 more crystals in here, and they're just not working. I still hear something. Let's try. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Setting 2. So, interesting. So I think that's how the radio works, maybe with the crystal. I can probably see these things. Let's take the cover off. Let's take the cover off. Okay, I got something interesting to get here. Get in the shop with us. Well, years ago I picked up this walkie-talkie at a yard sale. Too bad I didn't pick up 2 of them, you know. Can't do a lot with one walkie-talkie, but it looked like a good one. So I grabbed it. Now the condition of this walkie-talkie is unknown. Obviously what I'm going to try to do is transmit from the walkie-talkie to this radio. Because I suspect the walkie-talkie here is on... It has 2 channels. Pretty, I don't hear the hiss. Okay, let me just step aside here and we'll... This is... Ooh, I apologize for that. That's 14. I'm just going to step a little bit away. There we go. How do you like that, eh? Okay, so I'm going to leave the room now and try to talk. Well, let me try the other channel here. Yep, just one channel. Okay, I will attempt to talk to you from another room. Of course, the deal with that is you know if it worked, but I don't. I have to stop the video and take a look at what happened here. Let me do that. Okay, so yeah, I checked out the video. Yes, no audio came through, but you could hear the carrier silence it. So what I'm going to do, and maybe the volume's just not up on this, so I'm going to advance the squelch, squelch out the noise, turn up the radio. Ooh, that's pretty loud. Squelch a little more. Okay, I'm just gonna click this once. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this down a little bit, and I will now attempt to talk to you from another room again. Once again, I don't know what happened. So I gotta stop and check the video here. Okay, so I see basically nothing happened here. At least no audio came out. So that's kind of curious. Could be the fault of this. Because I can transmit a tone from my signal generator and it comes out clear on here. So what to do about this? Oh yeah, I was going to let's take the cover off here. Take a look at the condition of this and see, you know, I'm sizing this up to do a complete restoration on it. There must be access points to some tuning thing in here. It's missing a foot. So I'm guessing these 4 screws got to come out, and then the whole unit slides off. This is probably a ground terminal here. So let's get the big screws out. I notice there's supposed to be a plug in here, like a power cord type plug, and that's because this thing can work in a car. So you can drive it with 6 volts or 12 volts, different models. This is probably a 12 volt unit, and how does it make high voltage starting off with 12 volts DC? Would you believe? I think it has a vibrator in it. Would you believe it? This is the vintage for that kind of stuff. It's just kind of weird for me to think that you'd have a transmitter whose power supply uses a vibrator. Okay, let's get this out of the way here. Now, before I get into big trouble, this is definitely a shock hazard here, and at any point these wires could break off. I don't know how good they are. It could break off and come out, short to the cabinet or anything. So I got to be a little extra careful. I got to fix this up better later. Okay, pull this off. Doesn't it come off? Okay, somebody's coming off somewhere. Who's coming off? The front coming off? Yeah, it's the back. Let's just do this for a moment. Stand it right up. I think this is going to be on my bench for a while, so let's get her set up. So I'm looking it over while I'm doing this already. I certainly see a couple things like this big capacitor here that probably it's not in the best shape, but then the thing did appear to be working more or less, didn't it? Now let's, so lots of tubes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tubes in this thing. 10. One hidden back here. Here's the crystals. And you can see there's 2 crystals, I guess, for each channel. This one, look at these ones have worked their way out a little bit. 2 crystals, and then you see 2 are missing. So that's exactly why we got the result we got when I was selecting them. Let's look at one here. Can I get it out? I can't get it out. Can't quite get it out. Okay, let's take a look underneath. Let's get this a little more steady, Jim. See if you can. That's not too bad. Well, lots of stuff in there. All kinds of these type of capacitors here, which are extremely reliable capacitors. Some more up here, also quite reliable. All these reliable. It's got this one, this one, this one, the little green one down there. That's not very many at all. All the rest of these are highly reliable ceramic capacitors. It's just a few non-ceramic capacitors. Wow, that's a big thumbs up. That's why I turned this on and it worked. That's the reason why this works still. Got some pretty fancy stuff going on up here. Look at this huge filter here. Is that vibrator really in here? Look at this adjustment. This is a trimmer. Great big trimmer. Big high wattage resistors. Oh, bumblebee capacitor. It all looks to be in good shape. It's not covered in dirt. There's no evidence that it's been in heavy moisture at any point. This radio's been with me for, oh my gosh, I hate to say it, maybe 20 years. Again, I don't recall how I got it. I got stuff here, I don't know where I got it from. So in terms of restoring this, it's really quite easy. There's just a few capacitors to worry about, if they're even worth worrying about. And these could all be in top shape. They really could be. There's a chance that the manufacturer was using high quality parts. He's got to build a reputation, right, of reliable equipment. They all do. So it's in their interest to build these things rugged. Especially something like this. It's going to go into an automobile. It's going to bounce all over the place. And it's going to be in the hands of a person who, like me, who can very well be very sensitive to problems with it. It's an interesting plate here. There's a plate here, screwed onto here, and this plate, it's bisecting one of the tube sockets. The tube socket located right under it. So I know better than to lose these plates. Here's another plate here. Same thing, it's splitting. It's right on top of a tube socket. I've seen this before, and I think it's done on purpose. I think there's a reason why they do that. I guess there's a reason for everything, isn't there? There isn't anything in here that isn't thought through. It's a nice little relay here. This must be the transmit-receive relay. See if I can make it move a bit. Tiny, tiny. It's like a micro switch almost. Tiny, tiny movement there. So I'm asking myself, am I qualified to do work on this? It's a transmitter. I have no particular license for doing this kind of stuff, other than a general ham license, which I think permits you to work on transmitters. I'm not sure. But I'm much more comfortable with this than a transistorized one. And like I say, I'm really amazed. There's hardly anything in here that I got to sweat over. Okay, stared at this long enough. I think it definitely is something I want to consider changing a few of these parts. And just in the back of my mind, what I'm thinking is this tube guy can probably produce more than the legal output on here. Uh-oh, don't say this on your video. If I wanted to start doing that skip thing, I need a transmitter with 7 watts in it. I might be able to do that with this, as opposed to the normal 5 watts that comes out of these. Okay, well, I mean, I don't think there's too much more I can do. Let's just look on the top again. Just that big whopper capacitor. I don't know why they put that up on top. Probably no space underneath. That's probably why this guy's up on top. And oh, look at that! There is a vibrator. Right here. I hadn't noticed it. Jeepers, now I know where I can get a vibrator. I'm never going to put this into a car again, I don't think. I mean, I can't imagine hooking this up to 12 volts. Hey, you know what? Maybe I should make sure that this thing will work on 12 volts too. The reason being, let us be prepared for any eventuality. You know, the whole idea of ham licenses is to have a fleet of people prepared to assist with communications through ham radio in times of emergency. That's the rationale for ham radio existing. Certainly very valid back in the older days. Today, maybe not so much. But so maybe I should be ready to emergency communications via vacuum tube CB radio. After all, let's say there's a blast from the sun. Blast from the sun and burn out all the transistors in the world. I can still grab my CB radio and talk to nobody on it. It's fantastic. That's it. That's my plan. My plan is we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna try to hunt down a manual because I need a manual that includes the alignment procedures for this. I don't dare do anything with this without aligning it. I don't dare even change components without being prepared to align it, because it's a transmitter. Okay, great. Hey, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.